First at noon, we begin with a live look at the runways at Honolulu's airport. For many, it was a chaotic start to Christmas Eve this morning after a computer issue caused American Airlines to ground flights nationwide for about an hour. Now, the airline says it had problems with its flight operating system and blamed one of its vendors. But shortly after, flyers were on their way to start their holidays. Erica Brown has more details.
Christmas Eve travelers were hit with some bad news at the airport Tuesday morning.
Breaking news. I think this is a national computer failure. American Airlines computers are down. We're getting off of the plane.
A computer issue led to a ground stop for every American Airlines flight. It lasted an hour, then systems were back up and running.
A little bit of stress in the early morning, putting everything together, but as soon as that was done, we were all golden.
Jayla Shiver is headed to Orlando and Sao Paulo, Brazil. He said by the time he got to Washington's Reagan National Airport, the worst of the delays had cleared up.
Hopefully the weather's compliant. Hopefully the flight is all good. There's no turbulence. There's no further delays. So I'm hoping that we have a great time traveling and a great vacation at the end of the day.
The weather is a challenge in the west, with snow in the Sierras and hurricane-force winds, flooding and high surf pounding the coast. A winter storm brought some slick conditions to the northeast from Baltimore to Boston. While traffic on the roads is a little lighter today, more than 107 million Americans are planning to travel by car over the holiday season. Erica Brown, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
Let's take you to the Big Island now. Here's a live look at Kilauea volcano, where lava appears to be fountaining again inside Halema'uma'u crater. USGS officials said previously that the eruption had paused after slowing significantly from 3 to 4 yesterday afternoon. The new lava is covering an area of just over a square mile, and the visuals of the eruption so far have been breathtaking. Cameras caught the moment the eruption began at around 2:20 yesterday morning. This is time-lapse video from the initial surge of lava that quickly filled the crater floor. The eruption produced lava fountains nearly 300 feet high, and although the eruption has slowed since, a UH atmospheric science professor says no one really knows if it's done.
It's really tough to forecast what volcanoes do. You need to have a direct line to Madame Pele. Since 2020, there have been 6 eruptions, and some of them have lasted a week. The longest one has been a year. So I would guesstimate that this eruption will last somewhere between 1 week and 1 year. So we'll find out.
It's also common for eruptions that pause to eventually continue with new vents opening, which is probably what we're seeing right now. On Maui, a missing persons case is now a murder investigation after a Lahaina woman was found dead. 32-year-old Holly Dela Cruz was last seen in Wailuku in mid-November. MPD put out a call for tips on December 12th, but announced the search was over a week later. The department is not releasing any other information, telling us it could jeopardize the investigation. Meanwhile, the rebuilding of Lahaina begins with a plan. We're learning more about the county's just released outline, with dozens of initiatives costing billions of dollars. Eddie Dowd has the breakdown.
Maui County leaders call this a fluid plan that will likely change over time as they get more community input. The priorities are laid out in 3 stages: short, medium, and long term.
Every time that the wind picks up like 30 miles an hour or higher, people start getting trauma.
Lahaina resident Kim Ball was on the advisory committee that helped come up with 40 initiatives in the wake of last year's fires.
And we definitely want our town to come back in some way.
The 88-page plan released Monday includes projects that will take 1 to 2 years, such as an upgrade of emergency communications that would cost more than $30 million. The county will start acquiring land for new water and sewer lines, as well as future county offices, parks, and other projects. Leaders hope to have plans to rebuild Lahaina's commercial areas, including Front Street. By sometime next year, the community will be asked for input.
understanding what was working about Front Street and what wasn't working. And then those conversations with the community will lead us to a vision for Front Street and a path forward.
The midterm projects will take 2 to 5 years. They include $10 million to improve evacuation routes, a $6 million Lahaina business park, nearly $48 million to upgrade Lahaina's water system so fire departments can better fight fires, and a $30 million state project to rebuild Lahaina Harbor by September of 2026.
You know, that harbor is so important to Lahaina. That's like the heartbeat. I guarantee if that harbor was on Oahu, there'd be stuff going on right now.
The long-term plan includes projects that will take 6 years or more. The biggest, a 5-mile extension of the bypass from Lahaina to Napili. That's expected to cost $80 to $150 million. The county will need to work with the state on many of these projects. Funding still has to be secured, and some projects don't even have a price tag yet. You can see the full report on our website. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Honolulu police need your help finding this crook. Cameras caught a smash and grab at the Waikele Outlets Zales store. It happened on November 1st. At around 3 that morning, the suspect kicked in the glass front door and took multiple pieces of jewelry. As you can see, the suspect was wearing all black, including face coverings and gloves. And take a look at this surveillance video from the Hongwanji Mission School in Nu'uanu. Early in the morning on Wednesday, December 4th, 2 suspects entered the school and took items from a shed. If you can help with either of these cases, please call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. A Christmas Eve candlelight service will be held tonight in memory of 84 Hawaii officers who died in the line of duty. The public service outside the Kalani Moku building along Punch Bowl at the Law Enforcement Memorial begins at 6 o'clock. The service is to support surviving family and friends during the holiday season.
How's it, everybody? It's going to be a gorgeous Christmas Eve. A little on the windy side. Lighter winds are due in by tonight. And we've got that front up to the northwest expected to bring in more clouds and showers starting on Wednesday, maybe, starting Friday, maybe even into the weekend. But this morning, very dry out there. And still, it's going to be a little windy, even though the winds are slow at the moment. So it's going to be a breezy day today with lots of sunshine and very little rain. And the surf is on the way down.
Thank you, Guy. HPD says it'll be increasing their efforts to crack down on illegal fireworks this New Year's Eve. Violators face stiff penalties, including 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Police are also warning against parking on the side of the freeway to watch the fireworks. HPD will roll out more staff that night, and people with a permit are allowed to set off firecrackers from 9 p.m. New Year's Eve to 1 a.m. And don't forget that a lot of public services will be closed or limited tomorrow because of Christmas. On Oahu, city halls and driver licensing centers will be closed. The bus will operate on a Sunday schedule. The Skyline will be on its holiday schedule. Now, street parking will be free except for some areas of Waikiki. If you're planning to hit the links, the Pali, West Lock, and the Kahuku golf courses will open at 7 a.m., but the Alawai, Ewa Villages, and Ted Makalena courses will be closed. The city's botanical gardens, zoo, and Hanauma Bay will also be closed for the day. Emergency services will be available as always. And Christmas is one of 2 holidays each year which impacts trash collection in Honolulu. It impacts communities using the 3-cart collection system. Residents with Wednesday refuse pickups should leave their gray carts curbside until serviced, but the Wednesday recycling day will not be made up and items should be held onto for the next scheduled pickup. Keep in mind, this will also be the schedule for next week Wednesday, which is New Year's Day. For more info on the holiday hours, just head to our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Ahead on This Is Now, the monster swell that fueled the eddy caused damage across the Pacific in California. The video you need to see in 2 minutes. Plus, it's a Christmas Eve tradition. The Hawaii Bowl kicks off in a few hours. We have a look at the matchup between San Jose State and South Florida. The same swell that gave the eddy a green light over the weekend also sent high waves across the Pacific to California, destroying a wharf in Santa Cruz and sending workers and debris into the water. Elise Preston reports.
About an hour south of San Francisco, yellow police tape sealed off the Santa Cruz Wharf Monday after intense waves caused parts of it to collapse and send debris into the ocean.
Right when we saw that the whole thing collapsed, we just ran as fast as we can.
Luckily, the structure was closed to the public while under construction, but standing above the wharf's torn off remains, 2 workers who fell into the water. They were rescued and a third swam to safety.
The wharf began to pick up like a wave and come towards us. It was like a movie. I said, evacuate.
It's 4 shocking witnesses standing just feet away, like Jamila Starr and her family.
We called the lifeguards. They came, we told them the location of the victims, and then we rushed off the wharf as fast as we can.
The National Weather Service forecasts 30 to 60-foot high waves crashing onto the wharf's coast along Monterey Bay. At nearby Sunset State Beach, 1 person died at the hospital after being trapped under rubble washed up by large waves. And just south at Marina State Beach, a man went missing after police say strong currents pulled him out to sea. Back in Santa Cruz, Mayor Fred Keeley is warning of a dangerous time near the ocean.
We are anticipating that what is coming towards us is more serious than what was there this morning.
Elise Preston, CBS News.
2 of the world's best-known automakers are planning to merge as the industry transitions away from gas-powered vehicles. Honda and Nissan have formally agreed to hold talks over the next 6 months, along with a third Japanese car maker, Mitsubishi. The deal is seen as a lifeline for Nissan, which recently cut 9,000 jobs and reduced its production by 20% with declining sales in China. Here's what analysts say the merger could mean for consumers.
Combining development efforts could mean cost savings that are passed on to the driver. We could also see enhanced EV technology and new models brought to market faster. I mean, look, automakers, they have struggled with the transition away from gas cars. This merger would be a play for Honda and Nissan to kind of stay alive in the EV race.
The companies hope a deal can be reached by June and finalized by the year 2026. It would make Honda and Nissan the 3rd largest car company in the world, behind Toyota and Volkswagen. The Hawaii Bowl is kicking off in less than 3 hours. San Jose State faces South Florida at the Clarence T.C. Ching Complex. San Jose is led by local boy and head coach Kenny Niumatalolo. Now, the staff features a number of former Warriors, including Craig and Billy Ray Stutzman and John Estes. There's also 4 local players on the roster, including starting kicker Kyler Halverson. The former UH and Kaiser specialist soaking in his last week of college football back where it all started.
It's a great feeling to be back home. Beautiful place, beautiful atmosphere. It's a really bittersweet moment, going back to where it all started, the roots, and ending my college career here. It's very bittersweet. I'm going to miss it a lot, but no place I'd rather be. Definitely win. Win's probably the biggest aspect. It's always changing there from swirling to crosswind, so I have to really dial in pre-game and really see how the wind affects my kicks. And other than that, just feel like home and play my game.
Kickoff in Manoa is set for 3 p.m. Well, it's Christmas Eve, so Santa is very, very busy. You're looking at NORAD's live tracker of Old St. Nick as he crisscrosses the globe. Right now, he appears to be going over Germany. Guy Hagi is going to have your holiday forecast in 2 minutes.
Aloha on this Tuesday, Christmas Eve. We've got some pretty nice weather basically for the rest of the week. However, there is a weak front to the northwest due into the state with a few more showers starting on Friday through the weekend. And most of those showers will be light. Most of those showers will favor windward areas. And again, that's Friday, Saturday, maybe even into Sunday. But for now and for the next couple of days, this is what we're going to see. Fairly dry weather out there. It's mostly dry this morning. And hard to believe that we are now in the winter season. We're in the wet season. And we have not seen much rain at all over the last several weeks. Now, these winds are going to run firm again today. They're in the process of slowing down. They'll be much slower by tomorrow. But this morning, even though they're in single digits, they'll get stronger to breezy levels. So as the day progresses, you can expect the winds to build up. They'll still run at breezy levels, but by tonight, they'll ease up again for the next several days before that front brings in stronger winds on Friday. So this is what we're looking at today. Another beautiful sunny day. Temperatures running into the middle 80s. Leeward sides might be even warmer than that, but luckily that trade wind breeze will help to keep us cool. Now the fire conditions are lower because we still have a fair bit of humidity in the air, and that helps with the fire threat, keeping it lower. But still, keep that in mind that it's fairly dry with drought conditions for all leeward sides. Now the high surf advisories have been tossed out, but obviously it's still big for north and west shores, even though this swell is dropping. But another warning level swell is due in tomorrow night, peaking on Thursday. Again, that's a warning level swell. Not quite as big, though, as the eddy swell. Still, it's going to be a life-threatening situation. Again, that's starting tomorrow night. Box jellyfish swimming into south shores for the next couple of days, and the east swell will be rising today because of the stronger trade winds. So again, stronger trade winds today, dropping swell. That's Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, the winds slow down. It's going to be a little bit more hot and more humid. Maybe some afternoon pop-up showers tomorrow and on Thursday. And then on Friday, that weak front comes in with windward and mucus showers probably through the weekend, but leeward sides will remain mostly dry.
Tonight's Mega Millions drawing has millions of people hoping for a Christmas miracle. The jackpot now at $1 billion. Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
Instead of dreaming of a white Christmas, Mega Millions players are hoping for green as the jackpot reaches $1 billion.
Only when it's big, I play.
It's a pretty big drawing, and you got to play to win, right?
If someone wins, it would only be the second time a Mega Millions jackpot was drawn on Christmas Eve. The last one was in 2002.
Perhaps it could be a good omen. It's, you know, the spirit of the holidays, everyone's in a good mood, and how wonderful it would be to win whoever wins, and hopefully to do good with it.
There have only been 3 winning jackpot drawings this year, the fewest of any single year since the game began.
I have hopes.
The odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in nearly 303 million, but that's not deterring Antonio Olirbes.
I'm 36 years old. With that kind of money, I can live this life and the other life, and protect my kids for 3 generations, I think so.
He says if he does win, he will try to stay anonymous.
Believe me, when you got $1 billion, friends show up.
And starting in April, the price of a Mega Millions ticket will go from $2 to $5. The lottery says it's part of its new and improved game that will offer larger starting jackpots grow faster with better odds of winning. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
The magic of the season at one of the oldest Christmas markets in the world. I'm Tina Kraus with a German tradition that keeps Americans coming back.
Also ahead, who's joining Guy on the next episode of Upfront with Guy Hagi? We'll tell you in 2 minutes. Before we go to break, here's Ryan and Yunji with a preview of today's Spotlight Now.
Coming up later today on Spotlight Now, we focus in on the film industry.
We'll be talking to creative leaders in both the public and private sector. See you 1 o'clock on K5.
That's a performance by the band Streetlight Cadence. The group started out as street performers in Honolulu before traveling around the world, sharing their unique folk rock sounds. Their music has earned them 2 Na Hoku Hano Hano awards and an Emmy nomination for their self-produced show, We'll Play for Food, right here on K5. Violinist and founder of the band, John Andrew Franklin, shares the group's long journey to success on this month's episode of Upfront with Guy Hagi.
You know, we came from a classical music background, so I started in the orchestra on violin.
Okay.
We had an accordion player who grew up playing classical piano.
So you were the smart guys in school.
It's funny because we were pretty much all last chairs in sections, but we really liked making music. We dance and play wrong notes half the time, but man, it's a lot of fun, and that's what matters to me.
Look for Upfront with Guy Hagi at hawaiinewsnow.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Guy's next guest is H&N's very own Drew Davis. Well, every year Christmas markets pop up in town squares around the world, but the centuries-old tradition started in Germany. Tina Kraus takes us to one of the most famous festivals.
Holiday magic sparkles in the streets of Germany's historic city of Nuremberg this time of year. One of the world's oldest Christmas markets is once again serving up a seasonal smorgasbord of traditional favorites. And not just to Germans.
So this year there definitely seems to be a lot more Americans than usual.
Thomas Ladner flew in from Mississippi.
I think that it helps set the Christmas mood just because of how magical everything feels. Everybody's so friendly, the food is great.
This is Daniel Crocker's 10th time here.
There's nothing like this in Ohio.
for Christmas markets. It's just wonderful. You can't compare it, really.
The medieval city has been hosting the festival for at least 400 years in this location and offers nearly 200 wooden stalls packed with handcrafted holiday gifts.
They sell everything, ornaments, food, Glühwein.
That famous spiced wine is one of the biggest sellers.
It warms you up, keeps your hands warm.
Along with Lebkuchen. The gingerbread cookies come in all shapes and sizes.
What have you bought so far?
Food, a lot of food.
Kartoffelpuffer got my attention as an Idaho native. Tasty potato pancakes served with applesauce.
Did it put you more in the spirit?
Absolutely it did. It's beautiful here. I really like seeing all the Christmas decorations with the trees, the German Christmas.
A festive flavor of Germany, savored by holiday revelers from near and far. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Nuremberg, Germany.
Definitely on my bucket list. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL. Merry Christmas.